In this section, I want us to take a look at the configuration settings, and you get that from the dashboard, and you want to click on this options button here. Once you get here, you notice that you have several options here. You have different choices that you can make here. So let's start first with the settings. Enable multi-vendor support. Now what this is asking you is, do you want for other people to have the ability to sell their products on your store? You want to click that to yes. By default, this is set to no, so you have to change it to yes. And then you want to set the store limit for each user. This is where you can set the number of stores that each user can create. So for example, if you want to set the store to 2, 3, 4, whatever number that you want to set, that is the maximum number of stores that each user is going to be able to create. And then of course you can set the description character limit here. And then you can utilize the load bootstrap views. Now this particular template utilizes bootstrap 3, so we're going to leave that as the default. But if you're using bootstrap 2, then you can set yes, and then make sure you choose the bootstrap 2 views here. And then you can choose here the use discount price. You want to use stock, allow out of stock buying. You can leave that to enable maximum quantity lot fill. So there's a different settings that you would have to play on your own and see, how you want it to show on the front end. I'm just going to, to leave some of the default settings and make just some minor changes. And again, you would have to come back, and once if you decide that you don't want something to be that way, you can always come back here and make the change to it. So let's go over to the checkout. Do you want to force single checkout store? So you have the option here. Can someone just shop from just one store, or can they shop from multiple stores? So you want to leave that as no. Do you want to enable guest checkout? So I'm going to leave most of the default settings here, but just change just a few things. Okay, so let's go over to the default country. This is where you set your default country, where your store, where you're located. So I'm going to change that there. And do you want to add a terms and conditions? Then this is where you can check yes. Now, if you check yes, if you want to add the terms and conditions, then you would have to put the article ID for this. So let's go over to the article ID. Let me show you how that works. So in Joomla, web pages are also known as articles. So when you're creating a new page, that is set to you're creating a new article. So right now you get to that from contents, articles, and then you can add a new article. So what this is asking for here, we're going to do this later on, create our terms and conditions page. But for right now, it's saying that you have to put the ID here. So once you've created your content, this is the ID number that you have to put. So when you create a new content, it's going to give you a different ID, and that is the number that you put here. And this is going to force all shoppers to accept the terms and condition before they can check out, which is really great to have, because you want to make sure that people understand your terms and conditions. Then you want to enable taxation. Do you want people to be able to charge taxes and then shipping here? So we're going to just set these to yes for now. Once again, I'll probably come back here and make some more changes. And then for the select mode, you can leave it at that. Okay, now you have the sales notification. This is where the notifications go whenever there is a new order, and this is the transaction fee. You want to select the payment gateway. You can choose set up payment plugin here. And these are the different options that you have. So right now you have to checkout. So if you have an account to checkout, then you can use that. If you have an account with PayPal Pro, PayPal, Joomla Social Points. Now how this works is that if you want to utilize the Joomla Social Points, Joomla Social and Easy Social have a point ranking system. In other words, you can give users a certain number of points for doing some activity. For example, every time that someone logs in, they get 10 points. Every time that they comment on another person's profile, they get 15 points. Every time that they read something, but every time that they perform a certain task, you can assign a certain amount of points, and they can redeem those points in order for them to shop on there. So if you don't want to create a store where there's any type of monetary value yet, and you just want this to be a point-based website where people earn points, and in order for them to buy things on the site, they would have to earn a certain amount of points, and once they earn that amount of points, then they can be able to purchase things. So that's just another route for you to to go, and you can think about that. And then of course, so you have different options, authorized.net. And then you also have alpha user points, which is the same thing, utilize the same point system. But this is another extension that you would have to download. And once you download it, it allows you to set the number of points that each user can get for certain activities that they perform. And going back to the point ranking system, I think, this is something that can be pretty cool, that if you can start a store that people, earn or are able to purchase things based on the number of points that they have, then that's pretty neat. So right now we're looking at the easy discuss. This is how the point system works. If you notice here, you have user register on the site. This is the number of points that the admin have chosen to allot to this particular, for users that do that. Every time that someone posts a new update, then you give them 5 points. If they report an item, they get 5 points. So you can change the point system for these. But once again, I'm not going to be going in a lot of details with Joomla Social and Easy Social in terms of all the functionalities that, comes with them. But I just wanted to show you that there's something pretty cool that, someone might want to utilize this, that you charge the user a certain amount of points, and this allows for them to want to get involved because they know that if they get a certain number of points, they can earn certain things. Then this is going to make them, get really, really involved. So that's a great way for you to get people involved on your site. And then here you have the currencies. You can put the currencies here. Right now it's set to the, the US dollar. And then you leave this here as default. Now for the VAT and invoicing, you can put the site address here, and you can put the registration number here, collect all that information there. And then you go to the native product. And the native products here, it's talking about the quick to cart products only. So it's not talking about a CCK, content creation kit, or any other way that you can add products, which we're going to go over that. It's referring to the default, which is using, the quick to cart for products. So you have admin approval. Do you want to approve every store? Does every store need approval to publish products? So you can set this here based on your settings. Or if you want that when someone create an account, they can just automatically start posting products. You can do that as well. And then you have the email notification here. And then you have the store homepage settings, the feature product limit. How many products do you want to feature? The top selling products, the pagination limit. And then you have the product detail page and other display settings here. And then you want to show, the people who bought this. This is going to work, with social integration like Joomla Social and Easy Social. So just like on Facebook, when someone is browsing stuff, you can see suggested friends, or you're like on LinkedIn, you can see you might be able to connect with this person, or they'll give you some type of suggestions of people that you may or may you may know. So this is something similar to that, but it's going to show all the people who've bought a particular item. For example, when you go to Amazon, you sometimes see that they say, people who bought this product also bought this, when it says about, people who bought this. So here it is. There's this book now, and it's going to show you customers who bought this item also bought. So this is a similar system that this utilizes. It's the same type of system. So it's going to show all the users on the site. So if you want to build a thriving community, every time that someone creates a store and people purchase, they are going to be able to say, okay, the person that bought this, other people bought similar items. And you can choose the pin width for the product here. You can choose the gaps. And you want to set the limit for people who bought this. And then do you want to enable social sharing? So sharing type, native, you want to use the native type, or if you want to use the add this. With the add this, you would have to go to the addthis.com to get your publisher's, ID, and then you're going to put that here. And then you go for the media settings here for the store. So you want to leave this as the default here. But once again, if you realize, for example, that the store avatar image 124 by 124 is too small and you want to change that, then you can definitely do so. So you want to go to the digital products. Now this one cool thing too is that people can be able to sell digital products. So if they don't have any physical products to sell, they can sell, like their ebooks, their music, things like that, they can just upload it. And it shows you the upload directory path, right here. And it shows you the maximum size, the max upload files per product. So this saying that how many uploads can they have per product. So if they have 5, they can do that, or you can set this to 1, to whatever number that it is. And then for the expiration mode here, you can set it to the max download. You can set it to a date that expire on a certain date, or you can use both. And you want to set the expiry date to in days or months. So that's up to you. And do you want to enable the digital products here? So if you want people to sell downloadable products, then you can click on yes. If not, you click on no. And then you have the integration. You want to set the social integration. We've already installed the Easy Social and the Joomla Social. You can choose which one here, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later on. And then you want to enable point integration. So point integration, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, you can, people can collect certain amount of points for certain activities that they do. And you can see a push after adding a new product. You want to set that push after create a new store. So they can get, a certain amount of points, for these. And then you want with the advanced settings, show middle name. You can leave that as it is. And then for permissions here, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with the ACL because this allows you to control what people can see, what they can do in certain group, and give them certain access level. So for the most part here, those little changes should be sufficient for now. And as I mentioned before, if there's something else that you want to change, which I'm sure that you're going to do, as you learn the system more, you probably realize that maybe instead of, creating, 3 stores per user, you want to do 4, you want to do whatever it is. So once you set the settings to how you want it to be, just click on save and close so the system can register that for you. And let's move on to the next lesson.